Okay, boss. So now you're comfortable with the info package, data source, cube, managing of cube, creating of cube, yeah, deleting of data in the cube, yeah. Now we're focusing on this part of it, which one? Transformations. Right click on this cube, says display data flow downwards. So what is this here? What is this? What is this? And what is this? So with the help of transformation, what is it I'm doing here in this case? With the help of transformations, we are creating mapping between the data source object and what? Target object. In this case, what is my source object? Data source. And what is my target? Cube. There could be a case, let's say, now here, what is this here? Data source. Map to what? There's something like DS. What is this here? Transformation. Now again, do we see transformation here? This cube and this called the DSO. So between mapping between DSO and cube is also done with what? So when I say any source object, any target object can be mapped with what? Transformation. Not only data source. Source object can differ, target object can differ. It's about mapping between two objects is what we do with what? Transformations. Now, what is in 3.x? Okay. In 3.x data flow, we had something called transfer rules and update rules for the same. In BA7, we are using transformations, but in 3.x, we are using something called transfer rules and update rules. In BA7, these update rules and transfer rules are replaced with transformations. So you should know that vocabulary. There is something called transfer rules and update rules in 3.x, and the same thing is being referred as transformations in 7. Okay, boss? Now, what is the purpose of transformations? Mapping. Good. So, till now you've seen transformations where you're doing mapping, right? So, if you go to this, in the left hand side you find all the objects of your source object, and right hand side you say find the target. And basically with the help of rules, with the help of transformation rules, in the transformation you're defining rules which specifies which field should be populated, which info bit, or all those stuff. Yeah. And the same transformations can be leveraged to transform the data what is coming from source. Now what I'm doing, look at this arrow mark. When I drag this arrow mark to this, what does it mean? The value what is coming from this field is getting into this info bit with modification or without modification. Without modification. I'm not modifying anything. Whatever is coming from source, I'm happy. I'm same thing. I'm mapping it to target info objects, right? But if the case, simple example, let's say in the source flat file, I have lowercase letters. But in BW, I never enabled as lowercase. I want it as caps. Two things you can solve this. One is what? You go to the flat file, make everything as what? Capital letters, and then load. That is one option. Other option is you come to BW, enable info objects for lowercase, then load. That is one option. Another option is let it be lowercase in the file, let the info bit be enabled for uppercase only. While loading, in the transformations, I'll convert that lowercase letters to uppercase and then take it. Can I do? Which one is better? మనకు రొటీన్ రాయకూడదంటే ఫస్ట్ ఇది మేలు, ఫైల్ పోయి మార్చుకుంటే మేలు. నువ్వు ఫైల్ పోయి will you have control over the file? No. File is coming from a different source. If I ask him please change it uppercase, pavai antaru. Because why? As per my business requirement, as per my application requirement, I want it in lowercase only. In BW, you wanted it as uppercase. So, you will not change it in the source. While bringing it into BW, I should transform it to what? Uppercase. That is one example. Clear on this? So, when you are not happy with the data what is coming from source, you can transform it. You can change it as per your requirements and then take it into BW. That is what we can achieve with what? Transformations. Transformations into what we're going to do? Yeah. So basically, as part of transformations, we are going to build different rules, different transformation rules, and transform the data what is coming from source as per your requirement. That's clear in this. So can I say this is like field level transformations? Field one by one you map it, right? And for this we have different types of transformation. For example, if let's say I want to decide the mapping of customer number, right click and say what? Role details, disable, change mode, right click and say what? Role details. Now you see what is in the transformation we'll have different types of rules. Now drop down, what is this? It says constant, direct assignment, formula, initial value, read master data, read from DSO, routine, and we have different types of rules. And when you go with routine, you'll have to implement your logic by using ABAP as a language. Because all SAP products would use ABAP. So if you want to do some customization with routine, you will have to implement ABAP routine where you start writing your logic with what? ABAP language. Clear? And this is the most complex topic in BW. If you can, I'll be almost spending 5 days, complete week on this topic. But if you can become perfect with this, you can play with BW. Nothing like this. Okay? I know you'll not become perfect, but if you become perfect, you can play with BW. Nothing else. You don't need any topic. Only with this topic you can get job. Okay, boss? So focus. If you don't understand something, ask me twice, 10 times ana cheptana. Ayipoyanak matram perfect ga undali adi point. Okay, boss? So we'll have different types of rules like this. Okay. Now what is that you see? Constant, direct mapping, formula, all this, right? Now if you go to, that was a characteristic info bit. This symbol will tell you it's a characteristic info bit. But for example, if I go to key figure, drop down, I have direct mapping, formula, no transformation, routine. Do I see different set of rules for key figure? Again, is this a time characteristic here? Rule details. Again, this will have different type of rules. And based on your type of target info, if your target info bit is characteristic, you'll have different set of rules. For key figure, you'll have different set of rules. For time, we'll have different set of rules. For unit also you can see. Unit mapping you can see in what? Inside a key figure mapping. If you go to rule details of key figure, here you see mapping of unit characteristic. You can have from source or what? What is here? From conversion. Atla okkoka info bit type ni batti rules vere untayi. Okay. What I would do is first let's understand when to use which rule, then we'll get into the system. We won't see all this, but that's okay. So the transformations are new in 7. We use transformation to perform mapping between source object and target object. Transformation replaces update rules and transfer rules of 3.x. Transformations can be used to what? To transform your data. Now target objects could be anything: cube, DSO, info source, open up destination, anything. Source object could be anything: data source, info source, DSO, cube, info object, anything. Now types of individual transformation, field level rules. We are discussing only on field level rules here. I told you, will the different types differ from type of info object, target info object? If it is characteristic, you have this. What is it? Direct mapping, or we call it as direct assignment, constant, initial value, read master data, routine and formula. Inkote on the latest version lo read from DSO outundi, we'll see. So we got to focus on what is direct assignment, what is constant, what is initial value, what is each of this. Okay. Dani chadavoddu nannu chudu. The first one is direct assignment. Okay. Now this is a case, what it is, like say in the source I have a field and in the target I have an info bit. What are the value I'm getting from this field, I'm okay with it. So I want the same value to get into my target info bit. Then I'll go with what? Direct mapping. So when I'm okay with the value what is coming from the source field, I would do a direct assignment or nothing but direct mapping where the value from this field is populated to what? The target info. At a field నుంచి ఏమైతే వాల్యూ వస్తుందో అదే వాల్యూ పోయి టార్గెట్ లేవు. Till now that is what you've been doing. You've just been doing drag and drop. That is nothing but your direct assignment or nothing but direct mapping under this. Fine, boss. Next one is constant. So when I say constant, say I have a requirement like this. In this target I have a information called like indicator. Okay, but I don't have any field which is populating this from the source. But what I want is for every record I load, it has to take fixed value as A. That's all. Some requirement. For every record I load, it has to keep taking same value, constant value as what? A. That's where I use constant. And I am not worried about value of the source field at all. I have a target info bit which is supposed to take a fixed value. Always, irrespective of the record, it has to take a fixed value. Then I will go with what? Constant. Clear, boss? Okay. Then initial value. Initial value means you are not feeding anything. I have a target characteristic info bit, but you are not feeding anything. So when you don't feed anything, it will be set as what? Initial value. When the mapping is not done, it will be set as what? Initial value. Let's say you're loading a record. In the source, I've got order number, customer number, amount. In the cube also, I've got order number, customer number, amount. I've done mapping to order number, amount to amount, but I've not done mapping to what? Customer. When you don't do any mapping to customer, it means what? It is initial value. Let's say I load 2 records first. Now will I see 2 records in the cube? For all this, I'll have 3 columns: order, sales order number, customer number, amount. But for these 2 records, customer number will be blank. Why? We have not mapped anything for it. So when you say blank, it is null. Null means for you in the front end screen you see it as blank, but in the back end it will be storing a pond symbol. Pond this is a symbol null, it indicates in the back end. Man కనిపించేది మొత్తం క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ ఇన్ఫార్మేట్ కి ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ ఫీడ్ ఎనీథింగ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ బ్లాంక్. మనకు కనిపించేది బ్లాంక్ కానీ దాని లోపల ఒక వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది. వాల్యూ అంటే నల్ పాయింట్ సింబల్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే బస్ ఫైన్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ డూ ఎనీ మ్యాపింగ్ టు ఎ టార్గెట్ ఇన్ఫార్మేట్ విచ్ ఇస్ సెట్ యాజ్ ఇనిషియల్ వాల్యూ and if you loading data it takes in blank is nothing but null. Okay na? Next, read master database. Now try to imagine this concept. Forget about how we do concept important and you chesinodu kollakunnaranna concept important. Okay, నాకు ఇలా ఉందన్న రిక్వైర్మెంట్. I have a master data first for customer number. I have one master data called address. Tell me how many of you could understand this. I have a master data called customer. For this customer, I have an attribute called address. Okay. Done. Now I have a cube. Sales order ID, customer number, address and amount. I would like to store address also into cube. My cube has got sales order ID, customer number, address and amount. And when I look at my source object is just giving me order number, customer number and amount only. So when I go to do the transformation mapping, order number to order number, customer number to customer number, amount to amount, but address I don't have. Why? There is no source field which is giving me value for address. Okay. Now what I am trying to do now is, let's say in the customer master I have 2 records. C100 address is Hyderabad, C200 address is Bangalore. Okay. Now I am loading the transaction data from the cube like this. Say order ID 1, order ID 2. First order number customer number is C100, second order customer number is 200. But address I am not getting. What is the logic I would like to implement is, I would like to fill this address by doing lookup to master database. For each record I am loading, catch hold of customer number, go to master data, find out for C100 what is the address, add Hyderabad, bring Hyderabad, insert this into the queue. Now second record comes in. For second record, what is the customer number? C200. Go to the master data for C200, find the address, fill it into this. ఎంతమందికి అర్థమైందమ్మా? కరెక్ట్గా అర్థమైందా? దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఎస్ రీడ్ మాస్టర్ డేటాబేస్. సో while loading it to cube, I don't have a value for a target info bit, but I would like to fill this target info bit by reading from master database. That is what we call it as read master database. Same concept, you are loading it to cube, you want to fill it by reading from something called ODS or DSO. We will discuss on that later, but then I will use what? Read from DSO. Okay. Then next is routine. Next is what? Routine. So when you say rule type is routine, it takes you to ABAP editing screen where you can start writing your code. So when you go about writing code, you remember while writing for code for dynamic file selection, does it have a parameter like p underscore file name? So you just concatenate it and assign the result to what? P underscore file name. That was taken care from there. Same way, when you go about writing a routine in the transformations, it does open up an ABAP editing screen. By default, it does declare a variable called result. Result and output. You do all the manipulations whatever you want with ABAP, and whatever you want return it to the target, assign it to result. That is routine. And ఏమంటే ఎప్పుడైతే నువ్వు రూల్ టైప్ రొటీన్ అని పెడతావో నువ్వు అబాప్ కోడింగ్ రాసి రొటీన్ రాయాలి. సో ఇట్ ఆటోమేటిక్ క్రియేట్స్ అన్ అబాప్ వెయిటింగ్ స్క్రీన్. దాంట్లో ఆటోమేటిక్ ఒక వేరియబుల్ ఉంటుంది రిజల్ట్ అని. కాన్సెప్ట్ ఏమంటే ఏదైతే నువ్వు వాల్యూ రిజల్ట్లోకి పెడతావో అదే నీ టార్గెట్ ఇన్ఫార్మేటివ్ క్యూబ్లోకి వెళ్తుంది అన్నట్టు. సో నువ్వు ఏం లాజిక్ కూడా అన్ని లాజిక్ చేయన్నా చేసిన తర్వాత అల్టిమేట్ లాజిక్ ద్వారా ఫార్ములేట్ అయిన వాల్యూని రిజల్ట్కి వేస్తావు. రిజల్ట్ ఈక్వల్ అని ఉంటుంది, రిజల్ట్కి అసైన్ చేస్తావు. అసైన్ చేసింది ఏదైతే నువ్వు రిజల్ట్కి అసైన్ చేస్తావో అదే టార్గెట్ ఇన్ఫార్మేటివ్లోకి వెళ్తుంది, అదే టార్గెట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్లోకి వెళ్తుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు నాకు కస్టమర్ నెంబర్ సోర్స్లో ఉన్నాడు, కానీ నాకు టార్గెట్లో కూడా కస్టమర్ నెంబర్ ఉన్నాడు, కానీ సోర్స్లో కస్టమర్ నెంబర్ ఇస్ లోవర్ కేస్. ఐ వుడ్ లైక్ రైట్ మై రొటీన్ టు కన్వర్ట్ ఇట్ అప్పర్ కేస్. అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తా, కస్టమర్ నెంబర్కి రొటీన్ అని పెడితే అప్పుడు ఏముంది అబాప్ వెయిటింగ్ స్క్రీన్ వస్తుంది, అక్కడ రిజల్ట్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ రిజల్ట్ అనేది డిఫాల్ట్గా ఉంటుంది. ఆ రిజల్ట్కి ఏం పెట్టాలి, ఫస్ట్ కస్టమర్ నెంబర్ అప్పర్ కేసులోకి కన్వర్ట్ చేసి దాన్ని రిజల్ట్లోకి పెడతావు. ఏదైతే నువ్వు రిజల్ట్లోకి పెడతావో అదే టార్గెట్ ఇన్ఫార్మ్లోకి వెళ్తుంది, అదే టార్గెట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్లోకి క్యూబ్లోకి వస్తుంది అని. అది కాన్సెప్ట్. Did you understand this? ABAP ఏం లాజిక్ చేయొచ్చు అంటే ఇంకా ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఇచ్చారంటే ఇంకా అన్లిమిటెడ్ థింగ్స్ కెన్ బి డన్. వన్స్ ఐ టెల్ యూ డూ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్ విత్ ABAP ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ అండ్ అల్టిమేట్లీ assign the whatever the value you want return back, you put it to what? Result. Then can there be any limitation that you can only do this? I gave you programming language. ఇది చేయలేమంటూ ఉండదు అన్నమాట, ఇష్టానుసారం చేయొచ్చు. It's about writing freehand code. Okay, boss. Next is what? Formula. This is also like when you basically specify the rule type as formula, it actually opens up a formula editor screen where you have operands, where you have the fields, operations, ready-made functions. Using this, you can formulate a formula. So for every record you load, it will execute the logic of the formula and the results are getting into target object. Okay, boss? చూడు ఇంకా డెప్త్ చూడు, బొమ్మ వేసిన. Like say in the source field I am getting the value as what? C100. And if I say direct mapping, what value will you get in this target info? Same C100 comes because of direct mapping. As a constant, నాకు target info ఉంది. I am not considering source field at all. I am saying constant value as kg అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? For every record, it does not consider the value from source at all. It takes default value as what? kg as a constant. Yeah. Good. Now let's say in the target I have got info object where I am not mapping anything. So when you don't map anything, it is what? Initial value. When it's initial value, it will be what? Target object will be blank, and internally the blank is what? The font symbol. Look at this read master database. చూడు నాకేంటంటే నా రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే this is PSA for my cube where I got only what is this? Sold to party, and this is my cube. Apart from sold to party, I want land in other country, but for I don't have country column in the source. What I want to do is I should pick up the sold to party here, go to the master data of Kunnar customer. For 255, what is the city? What is the country? Was US. Now fill the US into this. ఈ సోర్స్ రికార్డ్ పట్టుకోవడము, దాంట్లో ఉన్న కస్టమర్ని పట్టుకుని దాని కస్టమర్ మార్కెట్లోకి వెళ్ళి దాని మార్కెట్లో కంట్రీ ఏముంది చూసుకుని దాన్ని బట్టి 225కి సంబంధించిన కంట్రీ ఏముంది ఇక్కడ యూఎస్, ఆ యూఎస్ వచ్చి ఫిల్ చేస్తాం. అవును, ఇఫ్ కుడ్ అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్. ఇదే కొద్ది కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయితే ఇదే కావాలి. రీడ్ మాస్ రీడ్. ఓకే, చూడు. నా వెన్ ఐ సే రిజల్ట్ రొటీన్, I've got source fields, I've got target info bit. Now between the mapping I said what routine. Now when you say routine, it does open up ABAP waiting screen where you will have a field called what? Result. Whatever the value you assign it result, that will be getting into target. Now code like take the control of source field, prefix z and rasi, then result case on my target info bit will get what? Z. Whatever the value you assign it result, same thing will get to the target. Okay, boss? And we don't worry on this point now, we'll come to that. This routine is executed record. What are the logic what are the rules we are seeing? Are these rules getting executed record by record? Not only routine, direct mapping, constant, anything will get executed record by record, boss. Okay. And while writing routine, you will output parameter as what? Result. ఇది రొటీన్ ఎట్లా అని చూపిస్తాను, డోంట్ వరీ ఆన్ దిస్. నెక్స్ట్ ఇస్ వాట్? ఫార్ములాస్. సో ఐ గాట్ సోర్స్ ఫీల్డ్, ఐ గాట్ టార్గెట్ ఇన్ఫార్మేట్, అండ్ ఇఫ్ ఐ సీ బిట్వీన్ ఐ సే వాట్ ఫార్ములా, you can start building up your formula. It does open up a formulator. Okay, just with drag and drop you can formulate your formula. It comes like this. This is the formula creating screen. You'll have all the fields on the left hand side. You can do operation, logical operation, arithmetic operations, conditional operations, functions. You can use all of this and manipulate a formula. That's about formulas. Clear? Okay. Let's see all these types of characteristics. Because for time characteristic it will be different, for keyword it will be different, but still more or less most of them would be same. Let's become perfect with this, then that becomes easy. This is the file you've been loading from, right? మనకి ఎక్కువ తీసుకున్నా మనకు అర్థం కాదండి డేటా. ఐ విల్ జస్ట్ టేక్ ఓన్లీ 3 రికార్డ్స్ ఫర్ మీ. ఓకే, ఫస్టే కాంప్లెక్స్ వద్దు కదా, చిన్నవి చేసి తర్వాత స్లో. కీపర్ కదా C1 సేల్స్ ఆర్క్ నంసి పెట్టిట్టాము. This is my file, yeah. And one more thing, okay, boss.